This is Charlie Parsons' Boxing Social in association with Betfred. We tried to do a Zoom last week. We were interrupted about 4 times by bad Wi-Fi. I'm still actually not sure whether it was yourself or myself. But look,
I've got my suspicions.
Off the back of a German adventure last week, feeling refreshed of this press conference. Let's just do a little reaction for yourself last week in Germany. I don't know whether I'd call the main event outcome an upset, but just on your side of things, a really good night of boxing.
Yeah, it was a fantastic show in Frankfurt. I think a lot of people expected Leon Bonn to win. I thought it was a 50-50 going into it. It was an important night for German boxing, for Leon Bonn. Unfortunately, he didn't get started. And he didn't get started because of his opponent. And Porrig McCrory, fantastic performance. We're going to be working with him on his next fight as well, which we're very excited about. But he didn't give Leon that chance to get into the fight. I thought Leon landed a few good early jabs and was keeping the distance well in the first round, but McCrory took over in the second and never really looked back from that point. Big heart from Leon Bonn, but not his night. McCrory's night, and Ireland was celebrating.
December 2nd even, up in Newcastle. You must be really geared up for this one. Troy Williamson, Josh Kelly, in what is a really, really good British title fight. Look, we'll go into how the fight was made and everything, but we can just expect everyone's saying barnstormer, and I think that would be the right word to describe this one on paper. Yeah,
Charlie, you're the social media expert. Weren't even you surprised? We all know how good a fight Williamson-Kelly is. December the 2nd, Newcastle, British title, that's sort of that, fight for your right for the world titles next year, feel to it. The North East, I think 2,500 already in the pre-sale last week. But I still find the reaction online when we put it out, and I remember putting it out I was very naughty on social media that night because normally I'll clear this with all the people within the organisation. I just went out, bang, right, confirmed it's done. And because I really enjoyed making the fight as well. But the reaction was like, woo, this is big. Yeah? And, it's a fantastic reaction to a fantastic fight. And I think it's got so many different storylines to it. You could spend, as a promoter, I could write a whole book on how to sell it, but you don't need to. That's the thing.
No, this is a fight that sells itself.
Yeah, it really does. And from that point of view, I'm just delighted we've managed to get the big arena up in Newcastle. So we have a cracking atmosphere. December the 2nd, Friday night, always lively in Newcastle, anyways. And all live on Channel 5.
Is it even more special and even bigger for you? Obviously, we've got the World Cup kicking off around that time, and we'll obviously have the anticipation and excitement of the nation with that. I think Tyson Fury, Derek Chisora is the next day. This is going to be a week where all the eyes in the country are going to be on sport, and this is on a platform that everyone can see. It's on terrestrial TV. It won't even be just the hardcore boxing fans watching it will be everyone. I'm sure even my mum will be on the TV and be tuning in on December 2nd. I'd hope so, Kalle.
Well, no, my mum rarely watches. She always calls me up the next day and there's just, so how was it? She never even knows the names of the boxers or anything. No, my mum doesn't, not too into it, but she even watches the Channel 5 boxing nights. No. That's what it's supposed to do. We're supposed to reach into a new demographic, and that's why fights like this, or earlier this year, Linus Udofia, Denzel Bentley, these sort of fights, British title fights, at that level, excitement, pure, we've had some cracking nights this year on Channel 5, and I think this builds up to the crescendo of it. Obviously a week before we're at York Hall with the first ever headline of Harlem Eubank. Tom Farrell on November 25th. So, but you're right, when you have that terrestrial spot, it just brings that extra bit to a fight because the fighters know that it's hitting eyeballs in 7 figures, more than 1 million reach.
Something extra to play for.
Yeah, and it's been nice to watch those numbers grow this year on Channel 5, show by show. It's fantastic. So, hoping that this ends a fantastic season, so to speak, for us. Although we've probably got one more fight or event in December. It's a few more thick and fast weeks to come, but this is sort of the crescendo of December for us.
For Harlem Eubank, I just spoke to Adam Booth and he said, look, it's time for Harlem to cement his own legacy on this Eubank name. We know how special he is. Like you say, he makes his first main event appearance in York Hall. How excited are you now? Because I imagine this will be, when he's talking about the progression of his career, this will be the thing that kicked it all off, that main event at York Hall. And also one that, people will be really excited to watch and see with Liam Williams on the undercard returning and, a couple of your other guys.
It's a really good card. But for Harlem, he's earned this shot. It's not like he's come out of nowhere and, we've said, give him a chance on Channel 5 main event. He's earned this. He's earned this the tough way. Yeah, and Tom Farrell, it's good matchup, good matchmaking. I'm not blowing my own trumpet, right? That's the matchmaker who done that, but it is a good fight. Return of Liam Williams after the fight with Eubank, obviously. He's in a tough fight. That's going to be announced as well shortly. That's done. And you got Chloe Watson, our Princess of Liverpool. She's coming down with a load of Scousers. It's going to be a hot atmosphere. Say again?
Guided by Ricky Hatton as well?
Absolutely guarded by the main man, the hitman. So yeah, it's a bit of everything in that night. Lucy Wildheart out as well, first time under us. And we're going to combine it into a bit of a cool night in the East End, York Hall, with a bit of football that night as well, because it looks like England will be playing, so we're going to have the screens up. We're going to go boxing, break for the football, a few beers, and then into the main events. So it's going to be a very cool night.
I was going to say, I sent a message to the work group chat and I said I'll be half cart speaking to Harlem Eubank about Southgate's 5 at the back and then asking him about how the fight went.
You're going to have to watch your interviews, that's for sure. I'm going to have to watch mine as well.
Look, let's move on to Chris Eubank Jr. What is next for him? There's been a lot of opinions around the boxing world itself. Obviously, coming down to 157 for the first time before, I suppose, since he was 18. Look, for him, how soon does he want to get out? Because I suppose there's two ways that you can look at it. You can look at it as, look, I've just had this really, really hard camp to make a weight that I've not made in ages. I want to allow my body to sort of rejuvenate and get back.
Okay, I can answer that pretty quickly.
Okay.
He wants to be out tomorrow. In fact, he wants to be out this afternoon. That's what he does. That's how he thinks. He's a competitor, second to none, that I've worked with. He's just got a way about him. He looks at things takes it all in his stride, and he's done that, by the way, since. First time I worked with him was around the World Boxing Super Series. It was never really even about the opponent. It's just the way it is. Obviously, the Benn fight was a much more personal thing. Apart from that, for him, it's business, and he wants to fight. So we've got the ongoing situation from the other side, which obviously is a developing situation. It's something that I can't comment because I don't have any information other than what you guys have. That's their business, which affects our business. So I can't let that drag on and whatever. I have to look also at what options we have, which luckily there's lots. So at the same time of him wanting out tomorrow, we also have to keep track of what we're doing with his career. And his career was not based on Eubank Benn. It was based on very different other fights. And that's also our target for next year as well. So I have to marry it all up. We're sitting down. We sat down this week again, and we'll make a decision probably shortly. But we have to look also at the other ongoing situations as well.
So I suppose two things from me then. Is there a chance that proceedings will come out, like you say, we don't really know what's going on, and that it's on Matchroom side.
It's certainly not on our side, is it?
Yeah.
So if you're looking at it like a courthouse, I guess there's going to be a hearing of some descript, and there'll be an investigation, and there'll be a judgment. That part is very much out of our hands. What I can't allow is that we are relying on that. That takes forever. I can't. We're not going to sit around and watch that. At the same time, we can't say we're doing the fight if we don't know what the result of that investigation is, and that's something that's ongoing. But at the same time, I can't be caught off guard. We can't, as a team, be caught off guard and not have plans in place.
We've learnt now that Gennady Golovkin is a free agent. Obviously, Chris Eubank Jr. He spoke about he wants that fight. Obviously, he went up to 168 for the first time in his career for that Canelo Alvarez trilogy. Look, he's a free agent. And does that mean that I imagine on your side of things, if this Benn fight can't be rescheduled, Eubank Jr. has made it clear how much he wants to, get that Golovkin fight over the line. Is this something that you're sort of entertaining and looking into?
We've spoken to Golovkin's people before the last few fights. When you say he's free, I don't know free of what?
He's a promotional free agent now.
I think he always has been for his last 3 or 4 fights. I don't think he's had a promoter for his last 3 or 4 fights. He was, yeah. So I don't think that changed things. I know his lawyer very well. And yeah, we know the right lines to speak to them on, and certainly that's one that I think is interesting for every side for next year. Not going to hide from that one, no.
Kalle, top man, thank you for speaking to me at Boxing Social.